What's going on, guys? I don't know if you know this, but I'm a casual of the Soulsborne, style games. Sekiro, as much as I liked it, was too hard for me to play. I got stuck, and I haven't been back on it. But I've beat like Bloodborne. I've beat Neo, almost Platinum Neo actually, which is kind of cool. Played Dark Souls 1 and 3. I haven't really played 2, and Demon Souls, which I beat Demon Souls many years ago. But there's something that has come to my attention that I didn't really think would get as much flack, and that's having the opinion that the DLC is probably a little too hard. Now, there's two sides to this, and the major point I see is people that maxed out and are like at, New Game 20 or 10 or whatever the max one is, are having trouble because, well, these boss fights are ridiculous. And I can understand that. I know a guy right now, he's having to restart, and he's on New Game 4. That's it. And he's still having to restart because it's just too hard, even for him. And he is a he is a long time player, and I'm talking about a big time Souls player. Now I put in about 160 hours at this point, and I think about 120 or 130 of it at one point was me platinuming it, which was wasn't easy by no means, but it was simple, if that makes any sense. The boss fights were the hard part. Doing the actual trophies was not. Another thing is that the DLC is like absolutely jumps in difficulty. I will admit it 100%. It feels almost like it's harder than other ones that I've played. Now, maybe that's because I'm a casual, but I myself have played Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. I thought Bloodborne was pretty difficult because I never got the parry system down, which is using a gun. I'm not a parry person, so parrying is not something I can do. I don't really block either because you only get to have about 4 blocks, and some of them get hit 5 times. They can do repeated 6 hits by doing like a triple, and then another triple as I call them. And yeah, they're pretty difficult. Right now I'm stuck on the Bud lady. I forget her actual full name. But basically she's that absolute bitch that has a scorpion tail and a centipede for a head, and her body's in the middle, all contorted and asshole-like. Now, I've been fighting her for literally like 6 hours. Now, I want to go ahead and remind everybody, she is similar to like Melina as far as some of her little abilities. Gives you Scarlet Rot, which is bullshit. I hate it. She can also pick you up and stab you in the face. I hate that as well. And I streamed it all weekend and was getting my ass stomped for most of it. I only beat a handful of bosses. And I'm stuck on her at the moment. So what I did, because I don't stream during the week, and I openly admitted this Sunday, I will be power leveling throughout the week to go ahead and make it to where I can actually equip different weapons without respecking. I'm going to try to get at least every category at level 30 without talismans, so I can kind of adjust my playstyle from there. But another thing, right off the bat, the giant flaming toilets are assholes, and I hate them because I knew they were going to be difficult, but getting one-shotted and instantly not be able to damage them at all, I couldn't even chip them. Couldn't chip at all. There's a few clips you've probably seen if you've watched my channel or watched me stream. If you don't, go look at my me get my ass whooped. You don't have to watch all 6 hours. Just skim through it and give it a like. It's hilarious. I ended up getting that boss I'm stuck on. I'm talking about just a small bit of health. And I use Bleed. I know a lot of people think it's cheesy, but I mean, come on. The game gives you all these different weapons. And yeah, I chose an easier one because I want to play it. I mean, that's the great thing about it is there's so many play styles. And I don't see why anybody would be downing another person for enjoying the game for what it is and what you got. That's another thing. I use the Mimic, so I get to double up on bleed damage. But basically, get back to that little sliver of health, I'm stabbing the shit out of her. Guess what? I never got that little crit damage to give her bleed and take a chunk off. I did in the beginning. The first half, I can just smoke her. Half her health will be gone in like 15 seconds. And then she starts getting like Millennia mode and starts getting ready to just absolutely spread my butt cheeks and just start going to town on me. And I didn't ask for it, but it does happen. Now, there's like 4 lions or something that I was told, and it was a little difficult. I don't think I had as much difficulty with that the lion boss as I did that armored lady. I keep forgetting the names because the whole time I'm just completely scared and in pain because of how hard it is. A lot of like pre-patch Radon, which I did actually beat, and I would say that proudly if it wasn't for the amount of cry sessions I had to have because of how painful it was. Now, like I said, I've played Dark Souls. Dark Souls, it's a lot harder than Elden Ring base game. DLC seems like they decided to crank it up, and I even admitted on stream that I am sorry that I said Elden Ring was easy. I don't know if FromSoft's ever going to watch my video and hear me, but developers, fuck you, okay? I'm sorry that I said it was easy. You didn't have to, you know, crank up the volume a little bit. Now, obviously, I'm joking. I'm actually finding it entertaining because I get to go back, power level, get to go through all this rigmarole again, and feel like I'm in the beginning again, so I have to actually earn my way again. Because that's the thing right now. My bleed build's good, but I am vastly underleveled in my opinion. I know I was at 150 or 60, and I almost feel like that's not high enough for your first run, casual-wise. Now, if you're a good, you know, hardcore Souls game player, you're clearly going to be able to go through this with pretty easy. Your dodges are going to be better than mine. Your attacks, you're not as hungry as I am when attacking, so greed is not a big thing to you. But me, I get greedy, I get very casually goofy, and I fuck up a lot. So yeah, that happens a lot, and I think that's the problem. And you also got to put in perspective. 50%, this is just PlayStation, 50% of the people that played it can even play the DLC. That's just for Moog. If you did not beat him in the Blood Palace, you cannot even access the DLC. If you found him too hard, and don't get me wrong, he's difficult. It took me about 10-15 tries to, you know, get him, which is nothing compared to 10-15 tries is like the bare minimum it's taking me to fight most of the bosses already in this one, in the DLC. So if you're not ready to put down 100 deaths as a casual, for, you know, you got to earn that 50, you know, the other 50% of people have to earn that kill just to get to this point. And that's another thing. It was like 60% for Radon. So basically only roughly like 40 to 50% of people can even play the DLC at any point. Well, actually, only 40% can play the DLC, which kind of sucks for all the people that pay for it. And I'm assuming out of the 40%, that's a big deal. When you have well over half of them paid for a game that they never got to beat, and then they find out they can't get to the DLC until they go back to a guy they probably hate playing, that's going to kill a lot of people wanting to play the DLC. And then they cranked up the difficulty, which you can say they didn't, but they did. And obviously they did. So you got the bare minimum people that probably, you know, skimmed away by the skin of their teeth just to get to the end and beat Moog and beat Radon, beat all these characters you need to get to the DLC, just to constantly get their butt cheeks spanked nonstop. Because it's like double the difficulty at this point, if not triple. I'm not gonna lie, it makes it, and I'm, like I said, I'm using a mimic. I'm using the golden little summons that you get before each battle if you want to use them. I use pretty much every tool at my disposal. I don't try to make the game harder. I'm not that super high level skilled Dark Souls player. I do like the games. I like the story. I like the environments. I love a lot of things about Dark Souls, but I play them casually for a reason. I don't want to sit there playing the victim every single time I cut on the damn game. I enjoy other casual style games, Mario Party, Mario Kart. I would say Super Smash Brothers, but there's no such thing as casual in that. Just like Rainbow Six, no casuals. But I think this is a not a serious issue by no means. It's Souls. Just you're gonna have to get good. You'll have to get better. You'll have to do right. You have to do different builds. You have to cheese it. I heard Holy and Magic is doing some serious double damage pretty much. So anything that would have done like bleed damage, which their bleed damage on the DLC is kind of okay. It's not the best. You can definitely knock somebody their health like in half pretty quick, but once they hit their second phase, which there is other phases on other boss battles, but you know what I mean, they get their second wind. Once they start doing that, they pretty much going to slap the floor with you. So right now I'm actually running a little bit of a power leveling rune farming right now, just to try to get everything at a base level so I can start swapping through between certain weapons and stuff to minimize my talisman usage, so talismans can be exclusively used for defense and health only. And then I'm going to turn around and try to, I don't know, do different items. I can try to play with the new, what potentially would be the new meta inside Elden Ring, because my bleed obviously is not exactly critting where I wanted to, which is fine. That's not a big deal. And that's my point. I know I sound like I'm complaining. I'm just seeing the side of like out of 40% of the people on PlayStation that can even play it, I can only imagine how many of them are actually enjoying the DLC, because you got to think that 40% are not high-skilled badasses. Some of them barely got through that game and probably felt like they accomplished something, and then they get the DLC thinking, oh, well, it's just going to be a DLC. It's going to be more bosses. I'll just have to level up a little. And then come to find out, no, they are absolutely getting a pole shoved up their ass and ran around like a puppet all day. It sucks. It does. And I understand their frustration. And I think it's disingenuous to try to write them off and act like that they don't have a reason to be slightly annoyed. Now, at the same time, I do understand the phrase, get good. So if you're not going to get good, you're not going to enjoy it. Let me go ahead and say that. You're just not. And that's something that I'm going to overcome that. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put the game down. No, I'm going to power level. I just know nobody wants to see me power leveling on stream for like 6 to 7 hours, so I'm going to do that off stream and get back into it. If you find that disingenuous as a streamer, that's fine. I understand if you want to go ahead and make fun of me for that. But at the same time, I only have so many hours in the day on the weekends because I still have other responsibilities I have. So streaming is not something I can do 10 hours a day right now. So I'm going to try to get this Elden Ring stuff beat. I was testing some stuff out. I'm not going to beat the boss. Not going to beat the boss off stream. I will make sure I do it on stream. But I'm just kind of testing the waters, leveling up some weapons. But yeah, tell me what you think. How hard is it to you? Are you enjoying the game? Well, the DLC, or are you not enjoying the DLC? Don't forget, please leave a like. It helps with my growth of my channel. All likes and comments are appreciated. And also all the subs that I've been getting is also appreciated. And if you didn't know, I'll say again, as often as possible, I try to stream on the weekends. I'm trying to do it longer and longer. But, some things come up that I have to do. Like I said, I have responsibilities. So if I'm not streaming as long as you would like, I understand and I apologize for the inconvenience at the moment. And also, if you feel the need to, I opened up tips. 100% up to you, but you are more than welcome to leave a tip while I'm streaming if you feel the need to. It's appreciated. But yeah, that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.